Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of, what's this called? Countdown to Leadville. Thanks, for listening, watching again. Y'all, I'm injured. Well, I'm in the process of not being injured. A couple weeks ago, I think I told you, I kind of like started to mess up my back, and it was going a little nutty, and I had to miss about a week and a half of runs, and well, that's not ideal right now. I'm supposed to be running my first 100-mile ultra marathon in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 7 weeks, I don't know, soon. So, well, really, it's like put me in a total funk. So I thought today I would mostly talk about like the psychological factors. Why am I saying like so much, like a valley girl? I thought we would talk about like the psychological factors in athletic injury. But really, I did. I remember this time in college, and sometimes I do actory, singery, comedienne-y kind of things, and I majored in musical theater, and I was at that point I was really kind of primarily focused on my voice. I was really doing a lot of singing, and I had this weird acid reflux thing that caused my vocal cords to completely scab over, and so they were held in place and could not move at all, and I could not make sound at all with my vocal cords. It wasn't I was a little hoarse or something. I literally could not get a single sound to come out of my mouth. I was mute for almost 3 weeks. In the middle of that time, I took a spring break trip to New York City, and I had to be mute the whole trip. Do you know how terrible it is as a tourist fresh off a pig farm in Missouri to go to New York City and not be able to speak? It was miserable, and I'm making light of it and laughing about it, but when you can't do the thing that you have so much of your identity wrapped up in doing, it is the most miserable feeling. I remember getting back to my hotel room one night, just crying out of frustration. I mean, not I don't know, bawling, but I just got back to my room, and I had just built up so much stress throughout the day because it was just so hard to not be able to speak. And well, so hard to not be able to speak. Come on. There are kids starving in Africa, if you'll allow the cliche. The much worse things going on in the world. But nonetheless, I'm going to whine about this. I couldn't sing. I couldn't even speak. And it was the most miserable feeling. That's the bottom line. That's the point of this whole story. And I am experiencing that again right now in a different form. Right now, the number one thing I'm focused on is running. The number one thing I want to be doing is running. And the number one thing I have not been able to do for the past week and a half is run. So, it's, well, I thought maybe it was just me, but then I did some really quick research about, the psychological part of athletic injury. And turns out I'm not alone. I mean, it's only been a week and a half. I started running again, and it's going okay. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine for Leadville. I missed a week and a half of training, but it's not the end of the world. It wasn't, it's not that's going to be a huge setback. But regardless, I still felt a lot of brain stuff going on in this week and a half. I mean, the most obvious thing was I just was I started not eating as well as usual, and drinking more than usual, and just not worrying about my food as much as usual. And I think that was probably all a sign of just, I don't know if I'd call it depression, but sadness or something, a little bit of panic. I mean, Ian Sharman, my trainer, has been really good to chill me down and be it's fine. It's a week and a half, Jeffrey. Chill out. You're gonna be okay. I've never done this before, and so I just need, I want everything to be perfect. And missing a week and a half of training 2 months out is not perfect. So this sense of panic, this like knot in my stomach just won't go away. I mean, it's going away now, but I definitely had it for about a week. And I think the panic was also exacerbated by the fact that, I mean, a week and a half ago, my back was really bad. Like, I could barely, like, stand up for more than, like, a minute. Like, it was bad. And so, you know, I had the doctor saying, you really just need to give it a few days and you're going to be way, way better. Like, I believed them on one hand, but on the other hand, you just, when you're that bad and you don't feel better yet, it's just really terrifying to not, I mean, okay, I guess you know you're going to get better, but you don't know you're going to get better until you start to get better. And so just a huge sense of panic, you know? And then on top of that, I had like major guilt because it's not just me running this 100-mile race. I have so many friends and family who are making the trip out to Colorado to watch me cross the finish line, fingers crossed, at Leadville. Not to mention, I have a film crew. I mean, a small film crew, but I have people who have committed their times, marked off their calendars, are, you know, expecting like income, and I may have to shut this thing down before we even get started. And I mean, not really. It wasn't that bad, but your brain just starts going south for sure. So I actually did a little research, and there's tons of information online everywhere about this kind of thing. So I just like, you know, I guess the whole point of this podcast is just to make sure that, you know, we spend so much time talking about athletic injury in sports, but it's always about, or in running, but it's all about the recovery. It's all about like the, you know, physiology of repairing whatever you injured. And I haven't heard that much about the psychological factors. I mean, how you take care of your brain while your body's healing, because your brain is probably going to have to deal with some things as well. So I'm not going to give you advice like I know what I'm talking about. And I found a lot of awesome, really quality advice online, but I don't even feel comfortable telling that to you. What I do feel comfortable telling you is, if you feel any of these symptoms, if you see any of these, I don't know what to call them. I don't know. If you see any of these symptoms, if you see any of these behavioral factors while you're injured, go see someone. Go talk to someone. I didn't. So I'm telling you to. I didn't. If it had been worse, if it had gone on longer, I definitely would have. But here they are. Changes in appetite, sleep disturbances, irritability, depression or sadness, lack of motivation and apathy, disengagement or alienation, excessive anger or rage, frequent crying or emotional outbursts, or substance abuse. If you are injured and you see any of those things creeping into your life and you've never dealt with them before, go see somebody. Go have a chit chat with a brain specialist. You know, why not? Why not? You know, I mean, you know, we could talk about the interconnectedness. I don't know. I think one of those words between the mind and the body, and it can't possibly be any different during injury, right? And you know, one of the best points. Oh, so this information all came from an article called "Psychological Issues Related to Injury in Athletes" by the American College of Sports Medicine. But one of the best points that this research article made was that because of the psychological effects during injury, so many athletes are physically ready to go again, but because they were in such a mind shitstorm, if you'll allow the language, even once their body has healed, they still have all this like emotional stuff to deal with. It's like, oh, I missed too much time. I can't, you know, I can't run this 100-miler. I missed a week and a half. And so, you know, those psychological issues can kind of hold you back from not just healing physically, but then, you know, really having the motivation and drive to like really get back on your feet. So the whole point of this chit chat is, if you're injured and you're sad about it or not eating or any of those things, or especially like if you see an increase in substance abuse, I mean, I always have, you know, a beer, a glass of wine here and there, but like I was bored And I was, like when I had like 6 beers, which like whatever, 6 beers. It's not like the end of the world, but it's more than I would usually have just alone by myself hanging out, And so, that's a red flag to me, no, it's not like passed out, wasted, like chugged a bottle of vodka, but, still, So aside from my injury, I have started running again, and it's going okay. I think it's going to be fine. I've been through this before. This is a back issue that I've had a gazillion times. So it's going okay. I think I'm going to be, I'm definitely going to be fine. Just really need to take steps to make sure that I don't wind up in the same position again, for sure. And so it's still the same, pretty much where it was 2 weeks ago. We're really still focusing on speed work and trying to increase my speed a little bit. I'm still trying to drop as much weight as I can healthfully before Leadville so that my speed is, a little bit faster. A week and a half of inactivity and boredom, which causes extra eating, weren't great for that. I don't think I gained anything. I think I stayed even, which is a success in my opinion. But it's still the same plan. That's still what we're doing. So hopefully I'll have more exciting training news for you in a couple weeks. I am in the middle of a move. In the next few days, I am moving to San Francisco. So if any of you live in San Francisco, hit me up because I don't have any friends there. I have one friend from high school. She is awesome. I'm super stoked to see her. Aside from her, I literally don't think I know anybody in San Francisco. I'll actually be in the East Bay area. So hit me up if, you live over there. We'll go run or something. Ian and Kevin couldn't join me today. I know we promised a run in the morning, but they are moving as well, and there's just, we're all so frazzled and busy. But I have the next best thing. Oh, wait. Shanna, if you're watching this, the best thing in lieu of Annie and Kevin, my good friend Shanna Shrum is here. She happens to be in Los Angeles this weekend. She lives in Chicago. She is an actor, comedienne, runner. She runs like a crazy lady, and she's here. So here she is. Guys, I'm here with Shanna Shrum.
Hi.
I don't even know how to describe this one. Well, one of my oldest friends from college.
Long time.
Solo performer, brilliant comedy writer, comedienne.
Go on.
All those things.
Just keep going.
Visiting Los Angeles from Chicago. Yeah. How you is today?
I'm great.
Welcome.
I got on a 6 a.m. flight in Chicago, and so took 2 naps.
Yeah.
And I did go for...
You were on an airplane, so I'm sure you were on an airplane in economy, so I'm sure they were really good naps.
It was economy plus.
Oh, sorry.
So I had the
Whoa.
bulkhead. I know.
Man, you're stepping up.
I know. I'm 5'2", so the 6'3" guy that walked by me was like...
Yeah. You paid your money? It's
I
fine.
did. No, I didn't. But anyway, that's a different story.
Oh, that is a different
story. It's a different story. I fly for very cheap.
Anyway.
Because I am very cheap. Anyway.
Anyway, you're here.
I'm here.
How do you like the Los Angeles? You've been here before.
I have. I've been here a couple times.
Yeah.
I love it. It's beautiful. Today was the first time I ever went running.
Yeah, how was that? You went running in my neighborhood in Koreatown.
I did, in Koreatown. Some of it was stark. And
what do you mean by stark?
Just, empty lots in which bad things may or may not have happened.
Yeah, well, that's Koreatown.
I mean, that's fine. And I'm from Chicago. There's schools of hard knocks there as well.
Sure.
It was really nice. I went and ran down Wilshire, and I was definitely the only person running down Wilshire. And I was like, do people not run here? And they're probably... I guess maybe they run in the canyons or something.
Yeah, we have a lot of nice outdoor spaces. So.
I know, and I didn't, I wasn't that ambitious today because I was so exhausted.
Do you want to run a marathon on Saturday with me? It's not organized. It's just me.
Not the full one, but I'll come run some miles with you.
For real?
I really will.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I really will.
That's awesome. So you're here, not in Los Angeles, on my roof, talking to me right now in front of a camera because you're a runner. Not only are you a
one of my good friends and hilarious. You're also like a legit runner.
I don't know how legit, but yes, I run.
You
and
run
I have
far.
been. I was a chubby smoker
Yeah.
first, and then I decided to quit the smoking and became even chubbier. And then I thought, and it was a lovely April day in Chicago, and I thought, hey.
So what, like 20 degrees?
Yeah. Let's slap on some Nikes and hit this lakefront path.
Oh.
And that was in 2007, and I have been running since, and I've one marathon under my belt.
Yeah, in
Chicago, 2011.
Oh, what did you do in the winter?
I just did the Miami half marathon in January.
Yeah.
And
How was that?
it was very cold for the Floridians and very brisk and warm for me.
Yeah.
It was 52 degrees at start. It was the coldest at start for this half marathon, I think, since its existence, probably.
And it was.
And the Floridians were like in like burqas and like full on like face masks.
What were you
gear.
wearing?
I was in a sparse tank top and shorts.
Yeah, for sure.
And Glide, and that's it.
And Glide. Hey, here's my question.
Yeah.
When you first started running, did you do anything like really dumb? Like, did you make any like major mistakes? Because, I mean, I'm still making them. For instance, I live in Southern California now, and I have major issues with the heat. Like, I've been like on the verge of heat exhaustion.
That's scary.
I've experienced heat exhaustion a number of times. I've been on the verge of heat stroke, but I've stopped. But I had the grand idea. I'm bringing a thermometer with me.
Right.
I was like, surely if I bring a thermometer, like an under
I
the
can
tongue
prevent a
thermometer,
forest fire.
I can just like take it, and I'm like, surely that'll tell me, right?
Sure.
So I carried a effing thermometer in my hydration pack.
Where do you stick
for
it?
months.
Do you put it in your? Are you a baby? No, I'm kidding.
No, it goes in my mouth, and it doesn't work. Like, it's not a thing. Like, it's not even a thing. It's like so dumb. So I mean, that's just
You're
something
just
that
like,
I've
I'm
done.
hot in this
And I would like tell runner friends who were like legit runners. I'd be like, oh yeah, like heat exhaustion, like
It's a bummer.
really getting me down. But I've got a like thermometer, and like they were all really cool about it. But looking back, I'm sure they were like, what? That chubby ginger is running with a thermometer in his
bless your
pack.
heart. Yeah. No. I think that's actually pretty smart, especially if you have an issue.
Yeah, but it doesn't work because you're in the heat.
You're like,
running,
I'm still hot.
Like your under the tongue situation is no longer an accurate indication of your internal body
Right,
temperature
right.
under those extreme circumstances.
Sure. So I probably made lots of mistakes as a rookie runner. I recently made a terrible, horrific rookie mistake as a very seasoned runner.
What'd you do?
I ate Indian food.
I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
More than once.
Oh, God. Well, I ate some Indian food, and then I did a long run in the cold, which I think the temperature fluctuation, because I have a hard time regulating my temperature when I'm cold, when it's really cold outside and I run, because I run year-round in Chicago, like literally 0 degrees. I have been out there.
Like.
I know. You guys are so lucky here. So I went, and I had it for lunch. I had some Indian food, homemade. And
really?
I mean, I
It never
opened
happens
a jar.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, I always try to make Indian food from scratch, and it's never.
No.
Good.
I leave that to the pros.
Yeah.
So I thought I was okay. I ate it for lunch, and then a few hours later is when I started my run, and I got through my run. And it was okay. It was kind of brutal, and I got home, and I think as my body warmed up.
Yeah.
And regulated, I was stricken. Stricken.
Sure.
I'm just not even going to go into any more detail because you just don't even need to know what happened.
Yeah.
But it was actually the first time I've ever thrown up after a run.
Oh, you threw up?
I did. I threw up.
Oh, see, my issues were where I had the Indian the night before and then ran the next morning. And I mean, like I had.
Right.
I mean, I think we can talk about this. I'd taken a huge poo before I went for a run.
There's no.
But I clearly hadn't taken care of business completely because it was just like uncontrollable. And I'm not gonna poop in the woods. Like,
why not? You're from Missouri.
You're right.
You're right. I have pooped in the woods.
You make a good point. No,
You so hoity-toity LA? You can't take a poo in the woods?
Yeah, I'm an Angelino.
Oh my God.
So. No, I would if it were dire circumstances.
Right.
Like, for instance, in the middle of Leadville, if for some reason I am stricken
Of course you're going to be
with the
stricken.
Indian food, like, I will go in a
Yes.
bush. But in Griffith Park in the middle of Los Angeles,
Right, you could get
like,
arrested.
yeah.
Sure.
So I
get
go
it.
home.
Okay, I
Is
get it.
what I do.
You're like, capping this guy
Yeah.
off today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my rookie mistake, and it was like a couple months ago.
I have heard rumors that you dress in some fairly interesting apparel when you're running.
Yeah. It's very boho chic, is what I like to call it. I think my running look is like very Mary Kate, like 2009.
So
like
homeless?
It's like a Goodwill look for sure. I have this thing about buying clothes. I don't like to buy clothes anyway. I just like them to be like bequeathed to me, unto me.
The what?
Bequeathed. Like someone giveth to me,
Yeah.
giveth to me, and I taketh. So I either like just wear like my race shirts because I'm like I already paid for it, or it's like I have some friends that are always like shucking clothes at me, like I don't like this anymore, it chafes, and I'm like I'll wear it. And so I literally just look like this hodgepodge of like, I mean.
See, I wear all black to hide my lady curves.
Oh my God,
all
no.
black.
So
But I
hot.
do wear these obscenely short running shorts. Really short. Like occasionally I'll feel like a little too much breeze. And I'll
And
have
you're
to be
like, whoa,
wait,
what's hanging out down
is
there?
everything still under wraps? It's not. Luckily I'm alone in the woods. Let's tuck it in.
I am known to like not wear a shirt. Like I go sports bra.
Oh, sure.
Which-
Yeah, you can do that though.
I mean,
Please.
yeah,
Look at you.
it's kind of like my feminist statement on the running
Yeah.
path. I'm like, I will
Absolutely.
be me and look the way I look.
Yeah.
And just be cool instead of hot and sweaty. So, yeah. No, I have a very specific hodgepodge homeless Mary Kate Ashley Olsen look.
I would like. I can't. Can I
I'll
see it
send
on
you
Saturday?
some selfies. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I
Please.
brought like terrible things to wear running today.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, so this whole episode is about me being like total Nancy about my back injury and being a super whiny and like sitting in my bed. I ate
Did you eat a lot of ho-hos? A lot of vegan
no
ho-hos?
ho-hos. One night on a particularly rough evening.
Yeah.
A Vicodin muscle relaxed
Sure.
haze
Things will happen.
sent me to the corner store for a 6-pack
Of.
Bud Light
Ooh.
and a can of Pringles, you guys. I did that.
gross.
Technically vegan, but
At least you stayed within the parameters of your dietary choice.
yeah, like that's like French fry vegan to the max. Pringle vegan is what that is.
Oh.
But honestly, like, I mean, I'm making light of it, but like, and it was only like a week and a half long injury. Like, it's not the end of the world, but man, like, I was just a real like crybaby about it. Like, I
No.
just like,
I'm like, I know.
I did. Like, it's so weird. Like, I felt awful. I was like positive I was never going to get
Never gonna
better.
run again. You're never gonna
I
run
was positive
again.
that this whole film and all of these people that I've assembled to work on it were just going to be like left in the dust. Like nothing was going to happen.
Right.
And I was really over dramatic about it.
I mean, I can
Have you ever
see.
been injured?
Uh,
Injured bad? Do you know that reference?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Well, but I'm,
It's a commercial with the little boy, a little gentleman of color. He's like 8, and he's talking. It's like an Allstate commercial or something. He's talking about how some dude got kicked in the balls.
What?
And he kicked him right in the balls. He was injured bad. You haven't seen it?
Maybe they don't have that
It's
commercial
so good.
in
We're probably
Chicago.
gonna have to edit that out. That's probably a really offensive like, 8-year-old black
You
boy
just
voice
run
that
it
I
by
just
the
did.
NAACP.
Oh, no.
Make sure it's okay.
What's her name? Dozenal or whatever? She's coming
Oh
after
God,
me.
Rachel Dolezal or
Yeah.
Dunzal. She's done. That's
Yeah.
for sure. She's
Yeah.
done all.
Anyway, please tell me you've been as over dramatic as I have about
yes,
an injury.
actually, yes, I have. I sustained a horrific injury. It was touch and go.
Sure.
2011 Chicago Marathon. I was training. I ran the 18-miler. My training had been really going great, really smooth. I was waking up early. I was crushing it.
I remember this.
Yeah, and I woke up after the 18-miler, and I was like, who in the night snuck into my room and took a hammer to my knee? And I was just like, what what is this? You know, like this was like my first marathon. I'd never really had an injury before. And I mean, like hopes were just dashed, you know? And also you're at your 18 miler, you're really close to the marathon. Like you can taste it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Leadville is 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
And like,
Yes. Like, so it was a late in the game situation. I didn't know what I was dealing with. I went to a physical therapist and they did a assessment and they're like, oh, it's just runner's knee. You can run on it. Like it's not gonna like ruin you.
what is runner's knee?
I think it's just overuse and like I think muscles on in your hips and whatnot. I mean, don't quote me on this because I am not a certified medical doctor, but that they're not strong enough, and so you're something on the top of your knee is like pulling incorrectly and rubbing incorrectly. It hurt pretty good. So, but then the big 20-mile training run comes up, and I have to run it, and I am so anxious and like concerned about the pain factor and like whether or not I'm gonna make it. I get up, I couldn't even sleep the night before. I think I slept 3 hours, and my friend comes and picks me up, and I get into her Honda Civic, and it's like, you know, 5 a.m. or some shit, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, like I just ugly cried up in the Civic, and I was like, I just worked so hard, and I really want to do this, and I just felt like all of it was just not going to happen, and how am I going to make it through this 20 miles with this pain? And I guess I did. Like I just did.
Yeah. How did it go? It was
fine.
it was okay.
I had to slow down and I had to stretch a lot, and it was really painful. But I did it. And then I tapered a ton, like between the 20 miler and obviously you do, and the marathon itself. But I definitely had, you know, I taped that guy up.
Yeah.
With the
you do
kinesiology.
everything you can.
You do everything you can.
Whatever you possibly
I brought like
can.
ibuprofen with me to the race, like in my little pouch. And I mean, somewhere around mile 10,
it just
that
happened.
guy just stopped hurting. And I was like, maybe it was all in my head. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like a major part of ultra running is just kind of learning to accept the fact that at some point something's gonna hurt.
Your body's gonna fall apart.
You're gonna fall apart. But like shockingly, like with a lot of injuries, you know, I mean, it's difficult to accurately assess what injuries are temporary and what injuries are permanent.
Totally.
But, you know, if an injury is temporary, it's really fascinating what some sugar, some salt, some water, some food can do for you. And just in a few miles, you're like, oh yeah, I'm actually fine.
Yeah,
like,
I'm okay.
Yeah, I can keep doing this.
I can do this.
And just moments before, you were, you know,
totally
sitting on a dead tree in tears like I have been.
Oh my God.
It's, I mean, you know, it's insane how, like, overly, and I think I am more so this way than other runners, but when, like, the running gets really tough, I get really insanely over-emotional. Like, I'm going to admit this.
Deep secrets.
On any runs, like, over 30 miles, I would say almost 100% of the time I end up like in tears at least once.
I
may be running, I may be fine. It's just like something in my head is just like, I want to keep doing this. This is awful, but like, you know, and like, I don't know, like, it's like corny. Like I'll think of like, you know, I'll have to remind myself of why I'm doing this, and then I'll like think about my mom. Like, you know, brain thoughts will like spiral out of control. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like in real life. Like, have you ever seen like? I think in general I'm a fairly emotional, like stable, consistent person. There's something about being like physically exhausted and shot that just turns me into a puddle. Like the smallest thing will just, and I'm a grown ass man, y'all.
You're a grown man.
And I will just be resigned to tears in the middle of nowhere running down a trail.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's something about the mind-body connection, and like, because I've actually experienced it where I'm like, I go on a run and it's like just this magnificent experience, and I just like feel like I'm flying and I'm crushing it, and it just kind of opens you up. And
yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about it from a different perspective. And I mean, I remember coming home and like I got a call and it was like some bad news, and it just like rips through you because you're so open.
It's so cathartic. Like, you know, a lot of people like to listen to music, or some people even listen to like podcasts and things. Maybe you're listening to this while you're running. I can't do that.
Keep going, pal. You can do it.
I can't do it. No, that's not true. I can do it. I don't like to do it. Like, I really enjoy the 6 hours of nothing, no stimulation other than me running on the trail, I get like all my best thoughts thunk.
Totally.
Like, while I'm running.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean,
It's like so much more than just exercise.
It's
It
meditative.
sounds so corny,
No,
but
it's
like,
not. There's a reason why millions of people do it.
yeah, for sure.
Because it's not just because I want my ass to bounce.
Right.
Just so.
Yeah.
And look like
But who
you could
does
bounce a
it?
quarter off of it.
Which
you
you can now,
Yeah,
yeah,
you really
what?
can, guys. Pan down for that. Am I right? Pan that camera down. No, for me, why I think I've continued running for as long as I have is because it is a huge emotional release for me. Like, I recently, my dog just passed away, and I mean, there have been some runs since in the weeks following where like the aviators are on and there are things happening to my eyeballs that are leaking onto my face, but it's like
bear.
I know, and she's very cute. But that is like, it's me processing my life, and I think that's why people do it. You're processing your life, and you know that it's some cheap ass therapy.
Yeah, it totally is. Well, it's an escape. Like at the very end of the day, it is an escape. Whether you're running through Koreatown with hundreds of people around you, or in the middle of the Los Angeles forest, like it's.
I think it's an escape, and it's also a connection to yourself. I think it's escaping the rest of the world, and then...
I hope only people who are runners and understand what we're talking about are listening to this, because if any of our... Like Annie and Kevin, if they watch
they're
this...
going to, like, laugh at us.
They are going to send us texts and make major fun of us.
You guys are big, fat babies.
Yeah, for sure.
That are totally in touch with our feelings.
Yeah.
And emotionally healthy.
Right.
Because we run.
And physically healthy.
Yeah. No.
Because we run.
I can, like, squat an entire toddler easily.
Shanna's a nanny as well. We're both nannies.
That's right.
Yeah,
Cheers.
well,
Thank God there's no kids here.
Yeah, we're both nannies. That's actually, well, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about kids on
We're
our
not
running
gonna talk about
podcast.
kids,
We love them, but they have nothing to do with running.
Mine's the cutest.
No, mine is.
No.
No, mine are. They
All right.
really are. No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing I want to talk to you about is you are a super successful solo performance artist. You performed like fringe festivals all over the place, and I would say writing is your strong suit.
Thank you.
For sure. So I'm making a documentary,
Right.
which can't be written. But like, how has running been a part of your creative process? And well, yeah. First of all,
I mean,
I don't know. Like,
yes, it has.
I can say that everything, like, for the film, almost everything creatively for the film has came to me while I'm running.
Right. Because there's nothing else for you to do but
solve
problems
and
think of cool things to write down and say.
Right.
I really noticed that, like, when I am training for something big, like a half or a full, I tend to, like, coincide writing a large project with that process. Like, it's, I mean, I literally, like, run to write. Like, that's one of the best things I do is, like, I'll go for a run and then I'll hit a coffee shop or, like, crack open my laptop and work on sketches or work on whatever it is I'm writing that day.
I love that you do that, because I don't enjoy running in the city, but I love seeing your post on Facebook where you're like at a frozen yogurt shop, like in the middle of your runs.
I did like 2 weeks ago. I was on my period. And I was like, well, if you're going to run, you're going to run and go get froyo. And
that's
that will
probably
be
why
your
I've never
special
done it,
treat.
because I would never run while I'm on my period.
It's important. Again, it keeps you balanced.
Right.
I do a thing on my Instagram. Actually, I actually do a hashtag called View from Today's Run.
Yep.
And so you can check that out and see all the pictures from where I've run. I've run in London. I've run in Chicago, New York. Here, I took one today and posted.
So then my last question is, do you have any advice for me?
Oh.
It's a documentary, so I mean, obviously, who knows what's going to happen. The real work comes in once, the only thing we can do is be sure that there are cameras everywhere, anywhere, anytime that something interesting might happen.
Right.
And then all of our work comes in afterward in assessing all of that footage and saying, all right, where did the interesting things happen?
Right.
Like, where are the story elements?
Yeah.
So we have to kind of do it in reverse. But I don't know. Like, do you have any
I mean, I don't know that I have any thoughts about your editing process because that's not something I've ever done.
Sure.
As far as like running and editing, me running. But I could say like for your running, I think, you know, obviously the whole run your own race.
Yeah.
That's always important. And also trust what you've banked. Trust your miles. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know that I have any other sagey stuff because I've never run 100 miles. Although I did add it up, and I think in total, since starting running, I have run a couple thousand miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I had been keeping track. Like,
I just did an average. It's a guesstimate, but I think it's pretty close.
I should sit down and figure that out because that would be really cool to know.
For sure. It's something that, you know, you can put on your OkCupid profile and impress dates with.
Yeah, and it needs an update. Trust
How
me.
healthy I am.
I've
run 1,000 miles. You can't keep up with me.
I don't know. Do you have anything else that you want to chat about? Man, y'all can't see it, but
There is a sunset.
how about a Los Angeles sunset?
There is
right?
a sunset
Just
happening.
like pastels like crazy.
It's
Hollywood sign.
It's a veritable palette
Yeah.
of pastels.
It's pretty pretty.
It's pretty pretty. Pretty all right.
Is there anything else before we go?
Gosh, let's see. We hit so many topics.
We hit a lot of topics.
Running, creative
Yeah.
process, pooping.
No, we did talk about that. My period.
My period. Our period. Yeah, no, I don't know.
And that's it?
You know, I want to say good luck.
Yeah.
And I'm going to totally, like, dust you on Saturday. 'Cause I'm really fast.
No, I'll take the camera.
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe this will be the next episode.
Okay, I love it.
Can we do this again on Saturday?
Totally.
Can we find more things to talk about?
Totally.
Do we like each other
We
enough
love
to like
each other.
chat more?
We totally do.
Okay. Hey, everyone needs to follow you.
Hi.
Instagram, the Twitter at
SSPAHTY.
Shanna Shrum Pate.
That's right, that's what I do.
Sweet. And especially if you live in the Chicago area, be sure to follow her because she's constantly performing. An incredible storyteller, solo performer. Characters are her specialty.
And
occasionally I get videos. And
you do.
Sometimes I accidentally watch them in my car while I'm driving.
You shouldn't do that.
I
I
know.
told you not to.
I know, but sometimes I can't wait.
Yeah, so actually one thing I am going to be doing, so check out my Instagram and my Twitter, is I am working on a web series, a mini web series.
Yes!
And that will be debuting in the
I don't even know
next few
about
months.
this.
I know, well, I forgot to tell you. It's true though.
Sweet.
It's going to be happening.
Follow.
Check out the Twitters.
Yeah, check her out.
And the Instagrams. It'll be there.
Again, here come all of my plugs. You guys, the live tracker, if you go to my website, click on live tracker.
I'm signed up.
I know you did. Thank you. It's going to be a website, a webpage during the Leadville 100 that has my Instagram, my Twitter feed, and a live GPS map that shows my live location as so much live as I run the course. So you'll be able to see everything that's going on. Go to my website. It is a trick for you to give me your email address. I promise I won't spam you, but sign up. You'll get the link a few days before the Leadville 100. And at the very least, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jeffrey Binney, Jeffrey, B as in boy, INNEY.com. And if you want to learn more about the film, go to www.onceisenoughfilm.com. I think that's everything.
There's so much live tracking. It's basically like the real world running.
Yeah, totally. Well, and our friend Annie Solstad, she's my story producer for the film, and I am not going to literally be running with my phone tweeting. She is going to be hearing the obscenities that I scream at her and putting them into something that is presentable for the interwebs.
It's like what happens when people start running and stop and stop pooping.
Yeah. Okay, we need to cut this off before I get to naughty.
Bye.
Cool, thanks, bye. Thanks for coming, love.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.